People who say, "I thought you knew." There's a phrase people use that sounds surprised, harmless, and almost accidental. "I thought you knew." It usually appears right after confusion shows up, a missed detail, a different expectation, a moment where two people clearly weren't on the same page. And on the surface, it feels innocent, like a misunderstanding, like no one is really at fault. But the phrase does something subtle. It quietly shifts responsibility, not aggressively, just enough to change the tone of the conversation.
Usually, "I thought you knew" comes after something goes wrong. Someone misses a step. Someone didn't get the memo. Someone shows up unprepared. Instead of clarifying, the phrase appears, "I thought you knew." It doesn't accuse directly, it doesn't raise its voice, but it quietly reframes the situation. Suddenly, the confusion isn't about communication, it's about awareness. And the conversation shifts from solving the issue to explaining why someone didn't know something they were never told.
The problem isn't saying, "I thought you knew" once. It's when it becomes a pattern. Expectations are assumed, details are implied, and clarity is skipped. Then, when confusion appears, the phrase fills the gap. "I thought you knew." Over time, it becomes a shortcut. Instead of checking understanding, people assume it. And when assumptions replace communication, misunderstandings stop feeling accidental and start feeling inevitable.
For the person hearing it, the phrase creates discomfort. Not because it's rude, but because it places blame without saying it out loud. You're left wondering if you missed something obvious, or if it was never made clear to begin with. And because the phrase sounds casual, it's hard to challenge. The moment moves on, but the uncertainty stays. That quiet doubt slowly changes how people ask questions, how they seek clarity, and how comfortable they feel admitting confusion.
Most people don't say, "I thought you knew," to blame others. They say it because it protects them. It avoids admitting information wasn't shared clearly. It avoids slowing things down, and it avoids uncomfortable responsibility. The phrase creates distance from the mistake. It turns a communication gap into a misunderstanding, and in fast-paced conversations, that feels efficient, even when it quietly shifts pressure onto the person who was left out of the loop.
At some point, you recognize the phrase immediately. You hear, "I thought you knew," and something clicks. Sometimes you're the one saying it, sometimes you're the one hearing it. Either way, the result is the same. Confusion, quietly reframed as assumption.
"I thought you knew" isn't a bad phrase. It sounds casual, unintentional, easy to say, but it's another example of how modern communication replaces clarity with assumption. Moments where things go wrong, not because of intent, but because no one checked understanding. If this felt familiar, there are more moments like this here, and if you keep noticing these patterns, you might want to stay around. So the question remains, who approved this?